All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit today about breathing. I hiked a mountain on Sunday, and when I was hiking, I was thinking a lot about breathing, and I was trying to breathe through my nose and not through my mouth, which of course is, if we're able to, it's a good way of breathing. And I think it did help me to get into a very steady rhythm of breathing while I was hiking high. There's been some studies of people who live at high altitude, us here in Denver. I don't mean like, Sherpas living in the Himalayas, but really anyone who lives over 500 meters above sea level. There's a lot of studies that show that people have a lot of greater health, especially heart health. And one of the things that they attributed to is that perhaps when we have the stressors from altitude, that we turn on different genes that support a lot of blood vessel growth into our heart. And that's a beautiful thing, right? But to me, it symbolizes what anything that happens in our bodies, where if we stress our bodies to a certain point, not an unhealthy stress, but a stressful state that's good for us. For instance, exercise. It's stressful for the body to be exercising. And if you overdo it, it's too much. But if you kind of go through the paces, you actually get stronger. So there's a time when your soft tissue, like your ligaments and your tendons, actually build capacity for resiliency based on what you're doing. So the more weight bearing, the more load bearing you put on different joints and ligaments and tendons, the stronger these tissues get. And the same works for our breathing, that, the more we stress our breathing to some extent, the greater our capacity is. And with levels of carbon dioxide, we have a very tiny little tolerance window for our carbon dioxide levels to shift in our body. And when our carbon dioxide levels start to drop, we have these chemoreceptors in our nervous system that tells the body, breathe faster, you need more, you need to get rid of, you need to have a better pace of regulating your oxygen and carbon dioxide levels. But if our carbon dioxide levels go too low from rapid breathing, this can be problematic. And there's a lot you can do about it. And I just read an article this morning that talked about screen apnea, where so much of our lives is being spent on screens now, especially for kids going back to school if they're on a lot of screens, that it's an unconscious habit where we tend to hold our breath when we are looking at screens. And this can contribute to a lot of tension patterns in our traps up in our neck and our shoulders. These accessory muscles of breathing can get very locked up from having this unconscious holding of our breath, because it does mess with our oxygen and carbon dioxide levels, and it causes the nervous system to shift into that sympathetic drive. So if you notice that yourself or your children or people you love are having a lot of tension and strain in relation to screens, perhaps it could be not just the physical positioning, but also the way you are breathing while you are on a screen. So unconscious screen apnea, stopping breathing unconsciously, is very different than what we try to do in yoga to build this resiliency of our breath work. So if we're trying to build muscle, tendon, ligament, bone by stressing muscle, tendon, ligament, and bone, we want to stress the breath, but we want to do it consciously. So unconscious stress on the breath, like screen apnea or other breath holding patterns that you have, don't really serve you very well. But the things that can serve you in your breath, that help you build resiliency and have that capacity for those chemoreceptors to not kick in and make you breathe fast so quickly, is, there's a few things you can do. First of all, you can finish your exhales. So when you are breathing, a lot of times we breathe in, we breathe out, and we start breathing in again before we fully let our exhales go. And so that's the first thing that you can do, is just learn how to complete your exhale. It's kind of like being patient and not interrupting someone when someone's talking, even though you have something to say. Can you finish your exhales? Can you learn the patience of finishing your exhales? The next thing you can do is to lengthen your exhales. And we try to do this in yoga all the time, where we consciously let the exhales be a little longer than the inhales. And this is a great way of training the breath. And then the last thing you can do to help with building this tolerance, this resiliency for the breath, is to rest at the pause between your exhale and your inhale. And this is very different than like pushing all your air out and hugging in tight, which we do a lot when we need that core strength. But when we push all of our air out, it's not a very restful place at the end of the exhale. And oftentimes we immediately come to a very quick and deep inhale when we have a forceful exhale. So learning how to have just the right amount of effort involved in a long exhale, and consciously letting the bottom of your exhale be an easeful place. So if you have effort along the way, can you let that last moment before you inhale be a place where you work with ease instead of effort? And then wait until you have a body urge, a breath urge to inhale, and then follow that urge. Don't resist. I mean, there is lots of pranayamic techniques you can do to resist. But I think if you're just trying to train for some good, healthy, resilient breaths and carbon dioxide levels in the body, finishing your exhales, lengthening your exhales, and then softening into a state of calm, easeful state at the bottom of your exhale, just for a moment's pause. It doesn't have to be a big time, but letting your body rest in the exhale, the bottom of the exhale. So let's try to work with those things in our practice today, finishing our exhales, being patient, lengthening our exhales, and resting at the pause at the bottom of our exhales, so that we can tone our lungs to really good breathing patterns. And we already have a head start because we all live at altitude. So let's be thankful for our little head start. So let's go ahead and sit up straight and tall and take a moment to, first of all, close your mouth and just try to notice the breath moving through your nose. If you're a habitual mouth breather, this can be very challenging to change your patterns. So just see, and if you feel like you can't, then don't. You don't want to have stress or strain as you're working with breath. You want always to peek to that edge, peek over the edge, but not go over the edge of what's comfortable for your breath, just like anything. So let's sit up straight and tall and feel the roots of your sit bones drop into the earth. Feel that sense of connection, yielding. Give yourself over to that for a moment. Release the diaphragm, our primary breathing muscle. So if we do tend to use those upper shoulder, chest muscles, let's drop away and come into the diaphragm. Feel your belly move as you inhale and exhale. And let's just start to relax through your face, cultivate some ease. So wherever that lands in your body, whether it's a state of relaxing your shoulders, maybe your palms, all the muscles in your face, your jaw, there's so many places that one could try to relax. So you go to where your tension spots are. Everybody kind of has them, so notice where yours are. And as soon as you have that state of ease available to you, let's start to work with a quiet patience as we exhale. Can you let your exhales finish? Do you notice that, do you topple on top of your breath? Do you cut the breath off and start a new one before one is complete? What does it feel like to stretch the exhales patiently out? What enables you to do that? Find the muscles that help you regulate the exhale. You can find the diaphragms of your body. If you've heard me talk about that before, the kind of constriction around your vocal cords just a bit, a sense of constriction as you slowly let the diaphragm rebound up. So just have a sense of control where you can make the muscles move slower into that contraction so that you can stretch the exhales out. When you do get to the point where the exhale is complete, can you rest in the pause? The effort that took you to stretch your exhales out, can you let it go? Can you let your body find complete ease in that last moment? And pay attention when the breath calls for an inhale, when your body calls for an inhale. Follow and see if you can turn patiently toward the inhale without a big gulp. So dole out the breath pattern just enough where you can stress the resiliency of those long exhales without over taxing you. If you feel short of breath, you're doing too much. Pay attention as best as you can to the way you are breathing. How does it impact the way you're sitting? How does the way you're sitting impact the way you're breathing? Does it feel good to pay attention to your breath, to slow the mind and the body down enough to seek the subtle, to enjoy the subtle? Let's have a moment bringing the palms together at the heart, and let's have deep gratitude for the ways in which we easily breathe and the harmony and synchronicity of your nervous system, your endocrine system, all these chemical reactions, nerve reactions, the muscles that are involved in your breathing, and then of course the lungs themselves and the prana that comes and goes. Let's just have deep gratitude for all that has to work in harmony to allow you to breathe well, to allow you to oxygenate every cell in your body. For the ways all this works with us not having to spend a single thought if we don't want to. And also gratitude for the deep uniqueness of the breath, where we have both unconscious and conscious control. We don't have to pay attention, and we can make change by paying attention. Okay, let's release the hands and let's come onto our back. All right, so find your way onto the floor. Stretch your body out. And just take a moment to enjoy what it feels like to breathe on your back, which is different than breathing sitting up. Can you be patient for the exhales? Remember, breathing through your nose will help dilate your lungs. So let's just enjoy the way the breath through the nose is if you're able to. And then let's go ahead and stretch your arms, stretch your legs, and just find your way into some movement. You're reaching through your sides. And then go ahead and bring your knees into your chest and rock a little bit. Just notice, how's your body feeling today? Is there anywhere that you need to care for, befriend, have special nurturance with? All right, let's circle the knees one direction. Keep the knees together and just feel the little massage across your sacrum. And then circle the knees the other way. Just kind of going back and forth a little bit. All right, and then stretch your right knee into your chest. Stretch your left leg long on the floor and wiggle out your ankles and roll through your feet. And just feel, how do your ankles feel? How do your toes feel? Can you feel a big squeeze of your knee into your chest? Lengthen your crown and your tail. And then let's go ahead and switch sides. Breathe through your nose if you can. If your sinuses are not allowing you to, then every third breath, breathe through your nose, or however often you can accommodate without too much stress. Remember, we're trying to push ourselves just a teeny bit into resiliency. So a little uncomfortableness is okay. A lot of uncomfortableness is not. Both knees back into the chest and swirl your knees away and back in toward the midline in whatever trajectory feels really good for you. And just enjoy moving through your hips. All right, and then we're going to come into happy baby pose. This is a big pose for your back, so feel free to be very gentle. You don't have to pull your feet way down. Just find a little bit of range of motion in your hips, some deep flexion, some big spaciousness in the lumbar, the back of the lumbar spine. This is a fair amount of flexion. And then release your legs. Starfish yourself open, spread out your limbs, reaching from your center out to your edges. Give a good squeeze to all your muscles here. And now have a conscious breath hold. So take a deep breath in, hold the inhale and squeeze everything you can squeeze. And then go ahead and relax that. Bring your knees into your chest. Rock a little bit. We're going to now hold the exhale. So take a deep breath in. Exhale, bring your chest up, your head up. Squeeze all your air out and just hold and squeeze your body. And then find your way back to a starfish. Deep breath in. Open your body up. Exhale, knees to your chest. Go ahead and relax your feet down onto the ground. Let's take some twisting here. So dropping some windshield wipers, knees off to one side and then the other. Start to pay attention to how you're breathing here. Can you slow and be patient, letting the exhales finish? Can you stretch the exhales out a little tiny bit? And then bring your knees back up, feet flat on the ground, and practice for 2 breaths, having deep rest at the end of the exhales. Come into your inhale when your body says it's time. Feel the patience as you let all your air out. Muscular action happens when you're exhaling. And at the bottom, melt. And then take a deep breath in. All right, let's go ahead and roll over onto your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. So finding your way onto all fours. Okay, so let's start moving through some cat-cows. Arching and rounding the spine, taking your time. Maybe, if there's parts of your spine that are a little vulnerable or cranky today, how are you caring for this? Even in the beginning here, is there places that you want to kind of hang out and stretch? Do you want to have less or more movement through the spine? How are you breathing while you're here? So even as you come into that scared cat and you feel a lot of abdominal exertion to bring the navel toward the spine and finish the exhale, can you melt at the very edge of it? All right, and then start to swirl and swivel and sway. Okay, so any kind of movement that feels good to you. Breathe deeply. Try not to suspend the breath. All right, and then stretch back towards child's pose. Take the hips toward the heels. Lengthen your arms out in front of you to whatever place they need to be. So if your shoulders are bothering you, you can take your arms wider or turn your palms up or your thumbs up. There's lots of little adjustments you can make. Find the breath. Stretch out the breath down the length of your spine. Can you feel the inhale touching all the way to your sit bones? Can you feel the rest at the bottom of the exhale? All right, let's walk our hands over to the left side. Feel some weight come into the pelvis. Drop down, relax the base of the skull. Open up the side rim of the body and breathe deeply, inhaling, breathe deeply, exhaling. See if you can look for those pauses between the exhale and the inhale. Notice the quiet that lives there. The suspension, even of the thoughts, can happen in that little gap. Okay, walk your hands over to the other side. Notice the breath and how it feels in your lungs, both on the inhale and the exhale. Are you enjoying the sensations of your body?
All right, come back up on tall fours. Feel free to move around in any way that feels good for your spine. And let's find our twist. Lift the right arm up in the air. Exhale and slide that shoulder down. Everything can be modified. Everything can be modified. So if there's any action that doesn't feel good in your body, seek a way to have a different vector of movement that helps you have ease. Notice the balance between effort that is for a good purpose, building resiliency, building capacity, and effort that is like, hammering your thumb instead of the nail. Okay, so let's try to stay in the good. Inhale, reach that arm all the way up to the sky. Place the hand down onto the ground and change sides. Reach the arm up. Place that arm through. Go right to the range of motion that's best for you. Femur bones back. Relax your neck. Discover your breath here. What does the pause at the bottom of the exhale feel like in this pose? What does it feel like to be patient for the full exhale? And then as you're ready, reach that arm all the way up to the sky again. Place the hand down and find your way to our first dog pose. So I hope you love dog pose. It's such a great pose. And what happens when you come here? For me, it's very much a symbol of my practice, where here I am in my yoga practice, and inverting, getting your head below your heart, has a very special sensation in the brain. So let's just revel in what this pose offers. Hug your hands toward each other, turn the eyes of the elbows toward each other, swoop the triceps under, feel that stabilization for your shoulders. And then feel the heart lengthen away. So you're letting the shoulder blades glide on the ribs. They're not on lockdown mode. Feel the breath. What changes when you're upside down to the way your exhale feels? You don't have to work so hard for the exhale, maybe. What does the pause feel like in dog pose? Can you be very awake through the palms, through the feet, the sit bones lifting, the length of the spine, but you can also feel very awake and very soft and relaxed on the exhales. All right, let's walk our feet forward to come into Uttanasana. Relax the base of your skull. Feel free to wag your tail or bounce, hop, anything that well, maybe not hop, but you can bounce a little bit. Sometimes that can help your ligaments and tendons loosen. Relax your head. Inhale for a halfway lift. So you can hold the tops of your thighs or your shins or blocks or the floor, extending the spine. The next time you exhale, fold deeply. Let the knees bend. Push off your feet. Rise up, reaching the arms to the sky. Extend your body open. Cactus your arms. Maybe your arms are straight out. Just find an open chest. Then exhale and round in. Feel the back of the rib cage broaden. Let's do that one more time. Open the front of the rib cage. Chest big and broad. Exhale, open the back of the rib cage. Reach the arms up. Grab onto the right wrist with the left hand. Feel the sense of lengthening up and over to the side. You can take your feet hip width apart and inner spiral your thighs. Feel the roots, the yielding through your lower body. Come on up, over to the other side we go, stretching open, root into the feet. How's your exhales now? Are you cutting them short? Inhale, open the chest, and exhale, and round in, fold in half. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Rise up one more time. We're going to just do a little bit of self-massage. So I want you to just slap your lungs. We're just going to have some action on our lungs. So you can take, I have kind of like scooped hands, so you're not like slapping with flat hands. And then just have some scooping. And don't forget you have ribs and lungs down here. Get around the back if you can, the sides. Just find where you can find and go up over your shoulders. If we were in class, I would have you doing it to each other on your backs, okay? You can even take your fists because they can sometimes reach farther back than your hands.
All right, and then pause and just notice the invigoration that happens. Find your breath. Enjoy Tadasana for a moment. Close your eyes, feel your feet root, the soft knees, the yielding, the diaphragm big and broad. Feel the pelvic floor move with your actual diaphragm, so your two diaphragms are broadening out on inhale, naturally recoiling on the exhale. What does it feel like to try to relax on the bottom of the exhale? Even if there's still a recoil in muscles, can you relax? Is there ease there? Can you feel the chest broaden? Can you let go of using the accessory muscles of your shoulders? All right, lift your arms all the way up to the sky. Take a deep breath. Exhale and fold in half. Inhale, halfway lift the thighs. Go back, the shins move forward a little bit. Exhale and melt back down. Step your left foot forward, your right foot back. So opposite from what we often do. So take the path less traveled. Extend the spine. Find your breath. Let's start moving. Square hips. Relax the head down. Find the breath. Do you want to, when you straighten your front leg, do you want to pick your toes up? Pull your hip back, just find your range of motion. Remember, we're trying to go to our edges so that we can find that resiliency without going past into a place that's not healthy. All right, let's come into a lunge, but let's go ahead and put your knee down onto the ground. Either lay out your toes or curl them under, whichever's feeling good. Find your breath, hands on your knee. Hug in toward the midline, both with your inner thighs toward the midline and your heel and your knee moving toward each other. Lift up through your spine. Let's just take a very gentle twist here. So put your forearm on your knee, your other hand on your thigh, and help you lift yourself up. Open up the hip flexors on that back leg. Drop the shoulders down. What are your exhales doing now? Sometimes when we're twisting and the obliques are active, the exhales become more complete. See if you can still rest at the bottom of the exhale. And then come back around. Bring your hands back onto the ground. Walk your back foot forward. Fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. You can use your blocks if you want. And relax to come back down. Step your other foot back. So now our right foot is forward, our left foot is back. Come into a lunge. Extending the spine. Discover your breath again. Notice how easy it is to start to move, straightening and bending. Notice how easy it is to forget to pay attention to the breath. And this is a beautiful thing, that our breath can just go off on its own business without us following, without your mind following. So just see what it feels like to trail the breath, to notice, to watch, to stay observant as best as you can. The present moment lives with the breath, so if we're seeking that presence, the breath is our guiding light. Put your knee down onto the ground. Feel the sense of space. Lift up. Feel a sense of openness through the hip flexors. Your back knee can be, or your back toes can be curled under or flat. Try not to fall. Don't hang in your ligaments. Hug in, so you're finding the midline. Lift up through your spine. Let's twist gently. Let's put our forearm onto our knee. Stay hugging toward the midline with your legs. Lift the spine. Use your exhales to twist. Drop the shoulders down. What does the bottom of the exhale feel like? Are you tumbling over it for the next breath in? Give it a tiny pause. Doesn't have to be a long pause. Just a moment. All right, and then let's release the hands down. Step back to a plank. So you can always come onto all fours if your shoulders need more support. Find a full posture if you're able. Shoulders are away from the ears. Try to relax the hunch up. That tends to happen. Feel the core engage, especially on your exhales. And it's harder when you have to have core engagement to feel that sense of surrender at the bottom of the exhale. So even if you still need core support, maybe your face can relax at the bottom of the exhale. Teach your body any way you know how to find ease. All right, let's come down all the way to the floor. Come onto your belly. Inhale, cobra pose, open chest. Exhale, and melt back down. Stretch your legs. Press your thighs into the floor. Engage your pelvis, engage your core. Deep breath in, open the chest. Exhale, and melt back down. Okay, fine. A little bit, we're gonna stay here for a moment. Lift up your thighs, curl your toes under, lift up your thighs and bring them out to the sides. Find your breath. You can have your arms down, out to the side or up overhead. And we're gonna just activate the diaphragm a little bit. So deep breath in, feel your body push away from the floor, exhale fully. Just give your diaphragm a few push-ups here, stabilizing the lumbar spine with your core. Lots of work in the outer hips. Neck is long, shoulders are down. All right, and then relax. Pick up your feet, turn your head, windshield wiper your knees left and right. Finding the breath here. We're gonna scoot over to the right side of our mat. Bring your left knee up toward the chest. Find your breath, come onto your forearms. Stay low in the torso. Just let your hips open your hip open a little bit here. Try not to overtax the back, so we're staying close to the floor. And then we're gonna lie on the floor and find our way into a twist here. Open the chest. If you can stretch your arm out, go for it. If you're stuck like me with, you're the wall, you can cactus your arm. Let the knee leave the floor. Do not overtax your spine. Find your breath. Long exhale. Okay, and then come back around. Come onto your belly, scooch to the other side. Bring your knee high. Come to Sphinx pose, arms stabilize. Lift your pubic bone toward your belly. Try not to just fall and let your lumbar spine overarch. Feel a deep compression like you have a sandbag on the outer right hip. Find the breath. And then we're going to come into a twist. So lie on the floor, open up your arm, let the knee leave the ground. Arm can be out to the side or cactus, whatever's good. Find your breath here. Open across your chest. Feel how even your pecs can be really guarded in your breath. So open them up. Full inhales, long exhale. All right, and then come back to center. Come up onto all fours. Okay, and find any movement pattern that's right for your body. Breathe deeply. Find your way to dog pose when you're ready. Lengthen and extend through your spine. Hug your hands toward the midline. Feel that external rotation of your upper arm bones. So the triceps are rolling under a bit. The biceps are lifting up toward the sky. Counteract that by rooting the index finger mound into the floor. This can stick your shoulder blades tightly onto your back, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes it can inhibit the length of our spine and our breath. So let go a little bit. Lengthen your ribs. See what it feels like to reach up toward the pelvis, and then reconnect with the shoulders again. Find the deep inhales and the deep exhales. Melt through your jaw. Let your skull relax. All the places that you can find ease, teach the diaphragm to let go a bit on that exhale as it recoils back in. This is, should be an easeful state for the diaphragm. Inhale, lift the right leg up in the air. Stack your hip over hip if you can. Feel even across your shoulders as best as you can, and then square up the hips again. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, knee to nose, all your air out. Now that's a little bit of more assertive exhale. Inhale, reach that leg back. Exhale and bring your foot forward. Come into a lunge on this side. Find your breath, stretch through your back heel. Okay, so for a moment, just stretch the heel way back, extend through your crown, and then when you're ready, rise up. Find your breath. Bring your arms to wherever you want them to be. So perhaps they're up in the air, perhaps they're out, or cactus, anything that feels nice. Feel the full extension through your spine. Open up the hip flexor on that back leg. Finding the breath. Okay. Exhale, twist to the side. Arms are wide open. A lot of assertion on the exhales. Let the exhales be full and complete. And then inhale, reaching the arms back up. Place the hands down onto the ground. Walk your back foot forward. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, other foot steps back to a lunge. Reach the left leg straight up in the air. Find the breath. Stack your left hip over your right hip. Three-legged dog. Find the exhales. All right, and then when you're ready, we're going to square up the hips again. Stretch that leg back. Engage through your glutes. Feel the evenness across your pelvis. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, knee to nose. All your breath out. Inhale, bring the leg back. Exhale, bring your foot forward. Lunge. Come on up. There's no rush. Take your feet wider. Go less deep. Find support. Anything that you need for stability. Put your arms in a place that's happy for your body. See if you can prevent yourself from using your traps. These are all muscles that tense the nervous system, or when the nervous system is tense, these muscles, it's kind of like two peas in a pod. So see what you can do to slide the shoulders down. Deep breaths in, full long exhales. Try to start slowing the exhales down. Now it's the work, the effort of building that resiliency of slow, long exhales. Breathe through your nose if you're able. Walk the hands back down, back foot comes forward. Fold in half. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Rise up. Reaching the arms out wide. Cactus one more time. Chest is big and open. Shoulders down. Okay. Release the arms into the back behind you. Interlace your hands. Open the chest. Spread across your collarbones and fold. Let the neck dangle. Notice if you have started taking tension in your traps. Is the base across the skull tense? Let it go. Release your arms. Hands down toward the floor. Step your left foot back, come into a lunge. Finding the breath. Come on up. Find your crescent lunge. And then turn and open up to the side. Find your breath here. So feel yourself come into Virabhadrasana. Feel the work of your legs and put your arms wherever you want them to be. So start from the ground up. Do everything you know. The yielding into the floor. The work of the outer hips by the action of your feet, the sense of where you want your arms to be, stacking your crown over your tail, turning a little bit if you need it. Once you have your stability, focus on the breath. If you can, breathe through your nose. At least through the inhale, breathe through your nose, but try both inhale and exhale. What does it feel like to expand your diaphragm and rib cage? What does it feel like to let the exhale condense really slowly? Can you build resiliency? Can you go to your edge of what is comfortable for your breath? Can you let your exhales go all the way out? Can you drop your shoulders at that pause? When the exhales end, relax. Let's find a reverse. So reach the arm in the air, feel the extension. Feel free to straighten your leg for a moment and rebend if you need some ease. Breathe deeply. And then come back up. Swing back down. Okay, so back down into dog pose. Stretch the hips back. Find that sense of balance. Relax the base of your skull. Feel the diaphragm, the breath, the ribs. Everything expanding. Slow, steady exhale. A little pause. Next time you inhale, come to a plank. Steady yourself here. Find the breath. Strong exhales now, so there's a little bit more core. Come down to the floor safely. Find locust pose. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Put them the weird way, because you always do them the other way. Take a deep breath. Decide whether you want your legs to come up too. Decide if you want your legs close or far. The back of the neck is long. The traps are easy and gentle. Find the diaphragm. Breathe your way here. Full inhale, full exhale. All right, relax. Turn your head the other side than before, and windshield wiper your knees. Okay, and put your feet on the ground. Let your body rest prone. Feel your inhale expand the back body. Feel your exhale melt you. What does it feel like to test the boundary of how long your exhale can be and that pause can be without overstraining the rhythms of your breathing? Where is your edge? Can you go right to your edge, building this tolerance? The chemoreceptors in your brain start realizing, oh, everything's going to be okay if you train yourself to breathe this way. When the chemoreceptors react very quickly, we panic. And when we panic, the chemoreceptors react very quickly. So, to try to break that cycle, we have to train our breath. And come back up, come on to all fours, have a moment to free up your back, finding the breath, and then finding your way into dog pose. Breathing through the nose if you can. The most important thing is the long patience. Don't breathe in until your exhale's done. Find that steady little tiny pause and relax there. Let's lift the left leg up in the air. Exhale and bring that foot through to a lunge. I forgot to do the twist on this side, I believe, so let's do that here. So reaching the arms up, let's twist to the side. Finding the inhale, finding the exhale. If I didn't forget, then we just get an extra twist in. And then reach the arms up and turn and open up to the side. So as you come into Virabhadrasana, find where your feet want to be, find your stability, find where your arms want to be, get yourself placed well. And once you have your alignment, yield, give yourself over. Find the work of the small muscles, and then what can you do to make your shoulders give up the ghost? So drop them away from the ears. Let this be part of that softness you're trying to cultivate at the end of the exhale. Deep breaths in, long, steady exhales. A slight pause, building that resiliency, comfortableness in your breath, but not to the point where you're having to gulp the next breath in. So find where you're resilient, where your edge really is. Breathing through the nose if you can. Do you feel like you're pushing the pause? What can you do to find ease there? Reach the arm up to the sky. Find the side bend. Feel free to straighten your leg and rebend if your thigh is distracting you from your breath. What's tense on the exhale that doesn't have to be? Relax your neck. Come out of the pose one more time, dog pose. Bring your hands down, stretch your thighs back. Feel the stability, feel the ease. Enjoy a big open chest for breathing. Enjoy a steady, long exhale. Relax all those accessory muscles in your neck and shoulders. We're gonna do up dog when we come here. So first come into a plank. Okay, so find that sense of stability. Your body's a straight line. You can put your knees down too. There's always ways to modify. But if you want to come into chaturanga and then lift up, hands and feet on the floor, drop, push the shoulders or push the floor so the shoulders move down. Open the chest. Long exhales. Find your way back to dog pose when you're ready. Take a deep breath when you're there.
Walk your feet forward, come into Uttanasana. Bend your knees as much as you want. Relax the spine. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Turn to the long edge of your mat. Come to stand upright. Find your breath. Bring your arms out. Feel your breath come from your navel to your limbs, that navel radiation. Hug back in on your exhales, your limbs toward your center. Okay, turn your feet forward. Come down. You can always use blocks if you need blocks to put your hands on. Extend the spine. Walk the hands out wherever you want them to be. So it can be even dog pose arms if you want. Enjoy the open pelvis, giving you a lot of room to breathe. Let the belly release. So notice when you exhale, of course, there's muscles that have to contract to help you exhale, but try to let the diaphragm be the primary mover. So notice its movement. Long, steady exhales. Relax your neck and shoulders. Breathe through your nose if you can. Be patient for the exhale. Stretch it out. Have a pause. We're going to take a twist here. So right hand on the block or floor. Inhale, lift the left arm up in the air. Square the hips. Finding the breath. And exhale and release the hand down onto the ground. Second side, reaching that arm up. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Try not to rely on the neck for breath. And then come back to center. Let's walk our feet in and come down onto the ground. And come to lie down on your back. Finding your breath here. Long, steady exhales. And notice if it's easier or not when you are on your back than when you are upright. We're going to come into bridge pose and we're going to hold it. Feel free to use a block in between your legs if you like that. Find your way up. Climb onto the tops of the shoulders. Turn the palms up toward the sky. The arms are pressing into the floor, even all the way down to your fingers slightly pressing into the ground. Palms are up. Keep the neck relaxed. Hug an imaginary block or a real one between your thighs. Feel the 4 points of your feet. Once you have the stable pose, equal effort in both sides of your pelvis, let's find the breath. Look at your belly. It's going to rise and fall, so just notice. All right, and then come down to rest. Windshield wiper your knees left and right. Breathing deeply here. Relax your neck. Maybe turn your neck in opposition to your knees. All right, we're going to do one more bridge pose, but this one's going to be supportive. So take a block or blocks, put it at any height. If you like super high, instead of using one block on its narrow height, just stack 2 blocks on top of each other so you can have the blocks across your pelvis. So either 1 block low, 1 block middle, or 2 blocks stacked. You want the block to traverse your sacroiliac joints. You want your pelvic bones on the block, not just your sacrum. Okay, so find your way here into a supported posture. First, just notice what happens. There's a big change when you're supported. It's very easy, so be comfortable in your neck and shoulders, be open. It's very easy to let the exhales feel, just let the belly drop. You can go very, the body gravity helps the organs settle towards the spine. So hopefully this is a pose of great ease for the exhale. Let gravity help you to relax at that pause on the bottom of the exhale. What is still holding tension that can let go? Enjoy the fullness of your breathing. Stretch the exhales long, nice and steady. Breathing through your nose if you can. If you work to stretch the exhales, it will stress your chemoreceptors. It will. So notice that feeling. Notice if you have a feeling like, uh-oh, I need to breathe. Uh-oh, that's too much. And just go right to the edge of that feeling. Let the pause be there until the body says, time to breathe. Belly is moving with the breath. Feel the breath travel. All right, so let's go ahead and come out of there. Let's take the block out. Windshield wiper your knees. Resist the urge to pull your knees in just yet. Let's do this first. So just windshield wipering. The head can turn the opposite direction. Are you suspending your breath? Are you not breathing? See if you can stay with the breath. No apnea at this. You can do breath holding. That's an okay thing to experiment with, but not unconsciously. So if you're an unconscious breath holder, try to uncover where those things happen in your life, whether it's when you're concentrating on something, when you're stressed, whatever it is, just notice those places and bring yourself into breath. Bring your knees down into your chest, rock a little bit. Let's come into happy baby pose if it feels nice. Don't if it's too much for your back, just stay rocking. All right, let's come into reverse pigeon pose. Right foot on left knee. You can either hold behind your left thigh, the front of your left shin, or one hand on left and one hand on right knee. You discover movement, stillness, anything that feels, you just play. Just discover where you're feeling this in your body. See what can happen when you widen your sit bones and drop your tailbone just a teeny bit toward the floor instead of letting it curl upward. Extending the spine, deepening your breathing. All right, let's go ahead and release that. Bring your knees to the chest and rock again. All right, let's put our left foot on top of our right knee, and you decide whether you want one hand on each knee, whether you want the interlace behind your thigh or in front of your shin. So go where your body says go. Do you want to rock left and right? Do you want to widen the sit bones and feel that gap under your lumbar spine? Keep active through your left foot, so stretching through the big toe and the inner heel. Feel the spine grow no matter what you're doing. Try not to collapse the vertebrae onto each other. How's your breath here? All right, and then unwind. Bring the knees to the chest, circle a little bit, sway, whatever feels nice. Put your feet down for a moment, and we're just going to do a simple twist. So lift the hips up, scooch them right, knees up, drop them left. Turn your head to the right, open up the breath again. So if you are working with trying to lengthen the gap between impulse and reaction, which is a healthy thing to work with, if your reactions don't tend to come from your highest place, right? Bring your knees back up. Let's scooch our hips left, pick knees up, drop them right, open up. So if you're trying to widen that gap so that your reactions come from thoughtfulness, integrity, higher purpose, the exhales, the long, slow exhales, we're not only training our breath for resiliency and health, but we're training our breath so that our mind has a little bit more opportunity to choose wisely. So if you get into those panic, anxious, snap decisions, anger comes quickly, all these things that are impulsive within us, if you learn to access this long exhale and a pause for a few rounds before making a choice of how to act, chances are you're going to calm your nervous system down. You're going to come from a little bit saner place. So it's good for both our emotional well-being as well as our physical well-being to learn how to access our exhales. Bring your knees back up. Anything you want to do. What we're going to do as we move into Shavasana is we're going to get our legs up. So you can have a couple choices. If you happen to have a couch like I do, then you can put your calves up on something like this, like a chair or a couch, and you can just head into Shavasana like this. If you don't have furniture, we're going to do just a little restoration by taking a block underneath our pelvis back to where we were before, and we're going to bring our legs either straight up in the air or bend your knees. Alternatively, you can actually do leg up the wall pose and go against the wall with your legs up the wall. I have no idea what kind of space you guys all have. So one of those three choices, legs up the wall with legs straight or bent with your pelvis on a block, or legs up on a couch or a chair. So let's just retreat into an inversion. Let your body soften into the floor. Feel your spine settle. Close your eyes. Feeling your breath melting. Find the places that you can that are easy to relax. So go to the places that are easy first. Maybe it's your palms or your jaw, whatever is easy for you to access and let go. Melt. As you exhale, let it be slow and steady. Feel the surrender, the quiet, the peace that lives in that little gap between the exhale and the inhale. At any point that you want to change your position and be flat for Shavasana, feel free. If you need to have a couple of minutes laying flat, now's the time. If you're very comfortable, just stay.
Slowly begin to pay attention to the breath again if you lost sight of it. Invite some movement in. Commit to the exhale, even if it's through your mouth. There's no, it's good to breathe through your nose as best as you can, but better to be relaxed. Let's go ahead and find a big stretch, maybe arms overhead. Bring your knees into your chest and come over onto your side. And as you come to sit upright, bring your palms together at your heart. Once again, let's just have some gratitude for all that works so beautifully in your body to help you breathe. Let's offer on the exhale a gift. Your exhale is a gift. It's an ease that you give to the world. So on your exhale, send off your energy. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.